Okay, we are live. Let's see. And setting this thing up here. Seeing if we have any chat. Good morning, everyone. Claude Diamond here. Wanted to speak a little bit today, kind of about my daily routine. I run a for those who don't know me, my name's Claude Diamond. I've written, got 9 books now on real estate investing and my last passion for the last couple of years, sales. I've written the gut sales method. I talk a lot about lease purchasing, different ways of investing in real estate. Been doing it for about 30 years. I love it. It's a lot of fun. My real passion is sales, conversion, psychology. I've written books about that. I'm a public speaker. I have a lot of followers on YouTube for those of you who know me. And I wanted to speak about my daily routine. I think I have a unique routine. I'm in my home here in Colorado right now. I live half the year in San Diego. I love it there, Southern California. I live the other half in Winter Park, Colorado. I spend another half in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and a lot of times we love to spend another half in Hawaii. That's 4 halves. Wait a second, that's a lot of halves. But Captain, my captain, hello, Dave Skulnick. You're the first on here. I wanted to basically share my routine. I run a very successful business. We're debt free, we're mortgage free. I teach a lot about sales, giving good phone. I'm real big about learning psychological strategies to build up a business. But what do I do on a daily basis? Eso, how are you? Good to see you. Let's see if I can pull up all the chats here. And I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of questions. If you guys have questions, that's great. Basically, on my day, I'm an exercise nut. I love to exercise. I like to stay healthy. I like to fit into my high school jeans. And I run every day. I love to run. I do 10 miles a day in the spring and summer. Sometimes even more than that. I'm a slow runner, but I'm a runner. I've run 5 New York City marathons. I like to just go out every day. Sometimes in the winter, it's a little harder. Depending on where I am. If I'm in San Diego, it's easy. If I'm in Colorado, we had 300 inches of snow this year here. So I'll have to use the treadmill and just stay on the packed trails where the cross-country skiers and the snowmobilers go and stuff like that. But I like to run every day 10 miles. I work out with weights every day. I just like to do this as part of my daily routine. I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you've got to be healthy. You've got to have you got to have a really high energy level. Besides working out with weights, I have a gym nearby that I go to. I swim every day. I like to do 10 laps in the pool. I'm not a shark in the pool. I'm a very slow whale. But I love swimming. It's a great all-round exercise. So I think that's part of my daily routine. And I try to knock that out in the morning. Sometimes I divide it up during the day. I don't eat during the day. I only drink my wife's fresh ground French roast coffee. I drink liquids all day long. Coffee. Let me have a sip right now, matter of fact. I drink coffee. I drink green tea, herbal tea, peppermint tea, fresh grown sometimes. We can grow it out here in Colorado. I'm in Winter Park, Colorado, by the way. This town is up to 12,060 feet. One of the lower towns in Colorado. So, seriously, some of the peaks in Colorado go over 14,000. They call them 14ers. I enjoy doing all that. I drink a lot of water all day long. I don't eat during the day. And I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you diet advice or any and all that disclaimer stuff. But my weight is yo-yoed all my life, going up and down. Do you guys have that problem with weight? And I've tried a lot of different things that work. Basically, I eat very healthy. I eat 1 meal a day. I eat in the evening. I'll have a glass of wine with dinner. I'll have a fairly normal dinner. I'll always have a big salad to start off with. Why? Because I love salads. And B, I eat a smaller portion on the main entree. I am a recovering vegan. We don't eat a lot of meat, but I do have meat once in a while because I like it. I was raised by two German parents. We had meat 3, 4 times a day. Now I maybe once every 3, 4 weeks, I will have a steak or a burger or something like that. So I'm not fanatical, but I do have a big salad, and then I have a normal dinner, a lot of fish and things like that. We eat. I'm not scared of carbs and things like that. I have a normal dinner. So if you put exercise together and you have a dinner that's under 1,500 calories, something like that every day, a calorie is 3,500 calories. The average male needs at least 2,000 calories a day. You're going to be in deficit between the exercise and just eating one meal a day. This is what works for me. Some people call it OMAD, one meal a day. Keeps my energy up. I don't get hungry during the day, long as I drink a lot of liquids. So for those of you looking into it, there's plenty of YouTube videos about that. It's always helped me to keep my weight manageable. It works really well for me. It's just a good way. It's just a good way to stay in shape. We do have a bad problem we all have this problem. I've had it all my life, going up and down and up and down. How do you become a better salesperson? Well, you got to have a lot of energy. You've got to have a sales system. My lifestyle is to work from my home. I have very fast Wi-Fi. I have no marketing expense to speak of. I don't believe, first of all, to be successful, and my daily routine is speaking at a minimum. I usually do training. I train people in 18 different countries. I train usually somewhere between 4 to 8 people every day for 15 to 30 minute segments. We go live on Skype or Zoom or on FaceTime on the iPhone. That's a dedicated system. So that's one thing I do every day with people, 4 to 8 what I call mentoring sessions. In those mentoring sessions, we practice, we role play. The way you get good at sales is the $1 million skill. And the way you get great at sales is you practice. You have to study and learn the psychological triggers. Be empathetic. Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about empathy, so do I. What's going on in that person's mind? How do you want them to perceive you? So you've got to get a system. First of all, you've got to have a marketing system. I believe in attraction marketing. Most of the gurus out there are talking about spending a lot of money on marketing, doing a lot of postal mailers, email mailers, text mailing, things like that. They buy lists, they use auto dialers, they use VAs, they use the quote-unquote acquisition managers. I talk with them every now and then, they call me. And these are basically chasing leads that they get from list companies and things like that. The results or callbacks are usually if they're telling the truth, it's less than 1%. That you get leads from that type of marketing. It's very low. And it can be I know people who spend thousands of dollars to just get a handful of leads. There's nothing wrong with it if you want to spend that kind of money and chase that kind of lead structure. Then there's the cold call leads, where people are calling from Craigslist and Zillow and the MLS and things like that. The beautiful thing for those of you in real estate, is that the prospects advertise. They tell you they're trying to buy or sell. They're trying to tell you that they're selling a home or they have one for rent. So that's fine. You can also, what I do is virtual attraction. I have over 900 videos now on YouTube. I do live broadcasting like this. I do public speaking, and I attract thousands of people into my world, and they call me about buying and selling in real estate. I put out a lot of content. I get phone calls every day. I get people who text me and everything. How did I start in real estate? Good question. Let me finish. I got started, basically, I had a mentor. I went to a lot of different seminars. I read tons of books on real estate, lease purchasing, subject to, owner finance, all the strategies. First book I read was by Robert Allen, Nothing Down, it was called. He had a lot of great strategies in there. For a beginner, I would read a few books and watch some YouTube videos on basic strategies. Those strategies can be a lease purchase, my favorite. I think that's the best way to get in real estate, starting with lease purchasing. It's simple. It's basically a technique where you can control the property without having to get a bank loan or with huge deposits. It is required, though, that you have to be pretty good in sales. You could do wholesale type real estates where you make an offer, price or terms, get it under a contract and sell it to somebody else, wholesale it to another investor, or sell the contract retail to someone who wants to live in the house. That's the beauty that you can do with lease purchasing, subject to owner finance, where the owner carries the loan. There are so many different strategies there. No, real estate's the same in UK, Isa. It's the same in UK or anywhere else, basically. Anywhere there's a free market economy, real estate is the same. It's one of the necessities of life. Everyone needs a place to live, okay? And so if you can find a way to control real estate, get it under a contract with a lease purchase, a sales agreement, and that contract is assignable, you can rent that property, sublet it, you can make money. Life is always easier. Can a person buy your books? Yeah, my books are all available on my webpage, claudediamond.com. I have the gut sales packages there. I have everything there. Just go to claudediamond.com. Thank you for asking that question on there. But the best way to get started is, I think, learn a strategy and study everything you can on that one strategy. Get really good at it, get the right paperwork on it, study the laws in your area, where you're in the UK, United States, Canada, Australia, Central America, anywhere. Make sure you're complying with the laws in your area. You have good paperwork. In my packages, I have a lease purchase package. I have all the contracts included. I studied law. I have a law degree. I'm not a practicing attorney, God forbid. I just love doing investing. I love doing sales training. And that's basically, to be good in real, that's where we met at a seminar. I turned around and asked you if you could keep it down, and you said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think I went too fast." These messages go way too fast on this thing. So if you want to replay that, buy your book and learn the system. Oh, thank you. I have several books that I've written on it here. The first one is The Mentor Teaches Success. That was my first book. Then I wrote a book called I even have a free book on my webpage too. This was my second book, How to Sell with Guts. Then I wrote, this is my recent book, The Guts Sales Method Rules. A lot of role plays in this, by the way. And this is on my webpage, claudediamond.com. Also, there's packages. My packages are, they contain a lot of the videos and the audio, so you can see the role plays. I'm big on role plays, by the way, guys. And also, you get a training session with it. I'm real big on sales. If you're going to, here's the truth. You ready for the truth, or you want me to make you feel good? Oh, thank you, Ani and Chantel. I appreciate that. That method will change your life. It will. It's the thing that they don't teach. There's a lot of gurus and a lot of programs out there. Oh my God, everybody wants to take your money. Don't worry about it. There's a program for every day of the year out there. The trouble is with most of these programs, they give you guys ready for the truth? Can I tell you the truth, or you want me to make you just feel good today? Can you handle the truth? Who said that? Jack Nicholson, right? You've got to be superb in sales, persuasion, influence. These skills are not taught today. Harvard Business School does not teach sales. Any of the prestigious, any business school, they don't teach sales, persuasion, influence. What are the words used? What's the science behind those words? What's the art? How do you persuade somebody to say, yeah, I like you, I trust you, your product or service will solve my problem, I want it now. Sodium pentothal time, yeah, baby. Sodium pentothal and a couple little Tito's, okay? Hey, can't hurt, but it's not 4:30 yet. No, it's only 11:45 here. The thing about it is, all the programs, the guru prize, I have a couple criticisms of other gurus out there. And that's not criticism. It's just, they just have a different business model than I believe in. I don't think you can throw a bunch of books at somebody without accountability and they'll learn. I think they need more handholding. I'm the result of a mentoring relationship. I had, after going to all the programs and things and books and everything that was popular out there, what I found was one man who was already very successful in sales, greatest salesman I ever met. And I learned more by working with this guy, asking questions, listening to him. I learned more about sales, and my life changed when I met this great salesperson. So find a great salesperson out there. Find somebody who has a love, a passion for sales. Find somebody who's really good at it too. Okay, they're not driving a 1972 Explode on rear impact Pinto. I had one. You want find somebody who's doing it and is accountable to you. Now, a lot of these guru programs and stuff out there, they will either give you a lot of busy work or they'll hand you over to one of their virtual assistants. The problem with that is, why are they working for somebody for $10, $15 an hour or whatever they pay them? Why aren't they doing it themselves? I always ask, the emperor has no clothes kind of questions on it. If somebody tells me they're very successful in real estate, but I can't call them up, I can't speak to them, I don't think I should give them a lot of money. Maybe that's just me. It's okay to disagree with me on this, but I'm big on accountability, and I'm big on one-on-one mentoring from true mentors. And that's how I got there. That's why at every one of my videos, I always say, call me. I answer my own phone. I really mean that, 970-281-5151. I love speaking to people. This is the way, sometimes I do business with those people. Sometimes they want me to mentor them. Sometimes they want to find out about a deal or brainstorm a little with me. That's fine too. I like speaking to people. The success of my business, I've been doing this 32 years. The success of my business is because I give good phone. I speak to people every day, and I stay away from the traditional, the silly scripted. You guys know, you guys who have heard me before, you know what I'm going to say next. I hate these scripted conversations that most of the other training programs do out there. I think scripts are caca. I think they're garbage. Scripts just, to me, when I get somebody reading a script, I know it. How much does it cost to be mentored by you? Give me a call and find out. I have different scripts or caca. Sean, thank you. I have different programs depending on what you're trying to accomplish. I customize my mentoring program. Some people want to work with me for 6 months. Most people, I like to do a minimum of a year. I even have a 3-year program. That's my platinum program. It really depends how much you want to make, how soon you want to make this money, how much time you have to devote to your study on practice with me on sales. If you tell me, Claude, I want to make $10,000 a month, I want to leave a job, I'm going to say, you know what? Let's get started right now. Let's put in a year together. Let's role play. Let's practice. You will be a different person in 30 days if you really put in the time. I know from my mentor how I got started. I had a mentor. He'd get on the phone, and it was like Mozart playing the piano. It was beautiful. He would make more money in one phone call than I'd make in a whole year at a corporate job I had, which I didn't like. I didn't like. I don't play nice with others. I don't want to. I'm a horrible employee. I don't want to work with somebody else. I wanted my own business. I love working from home. I think that to me is, I don't even have an outside. I used to have an outside office. I don't even need that anymore. I get on video with people, and I use all the different methods. I talk to people on the phone. I don't ever go to a property unless I'm picking up a check or a contract. I do most of my business either on the phone or live video, and I love it working from home. My homes are in nice areas, San Diego and Colorado and North Carolina. I love working in places that other people take vacations in. I keep my overhead high. All the profits I made from my business went to paying off this nice big house in Colorado. It's free and clear. That's where the money went instead of paying a landlord. I learned sales from my mentor, and that was the missing link. And I share this with you every time I do one of these live things. You've got to be superb in sales. You've got to be great in sales. You cannot be mediocre. You cannot read scripts. You cannot beg for the order. You cannot demean yourself. Be subservient to your prospects. They're looking for a leader. Max was my mentor. Max the mentor. Several of my books, I've written stories about Max. He was one of those once in a lifetime people you meet, a unique person who was just great. You want to be around someone. It doesn't have to be me. This is not self-serving nonsense. You want to be around someone who's truly successful in their own right, not their employees, but the person who's doing it. You want to, hey, could I hear you on the phone? Could we make phone calls together? That's what I do with my students if they want. Can you role play and practice? When you sell on seller financing, if you take it sub 2, then sell it on a wrap. What a note? Do you wrap it with a note and deed of trust? I'm sorry, these notes go way too fast. You're gonna have to keep your note your questions a little simpler and shorter on this. If I do a deal with a wrap, to answer your question, and I do a contract, and then I increase the price of the property, or I roll in the financing and I sell it to somebody else. I sell that contract usually to another investor, wholesale arbitrage I call it. I get cash and a note. Say I want to sell a note. I want to sell a contract. I have a $500,000 property. I got it with really great terms on it. Maybe I got it a little under market. Price or terms. Those are the two things I look for in any negotiation. Say I have a great deal for another investor. I'm good at one thing, finding deals. Back to sales again, negotiation. And I'll take that deal, I'll restructure the deal, I'll negotiate it, and then I will sell it to somebody else. I will sell it to somebody who either wants to live in the property or somebody who wants to be an investor in the property. How much money do I need to start in real estate? You can it's always easy. Listen, you want me to tell you the truth? The truth is it's always easier when you start any business with money. Being undercapitalized means if you're undercapitalized, you're going to have to work a lot harder. If you have the capital, spend your money on good computer equipment and learn a sales system and make those phone calls. If you have no money, I know you have at least a phone, an iPhone or an Android. Start making phone calls and learn to negotiate deals. Put them into a contract subject, and you can negotiate the payments for later on, the down payment, the option money. Make sure and sell that contract to somebody else, or partner with an investor and start making yourself some money and get capitalized. The goal of the business is to have a capital war chest. You got to have enough money so that eventually you can be the player in the game. You can keep your own properties. You can rent them out. You can rent them with an option. You can sell them. What is the difference between negotiating and selling? Negotiation is a part of selling. It's a segment of selling. You're asking a lot of questions, Iso. It's okay. Questions are good. You can, basically when you negotiate, you're looking to determine what is the terms of the deal. For instance, you want to negotiate the price on a property, the payments on the property, the interest rate, the length of the lease. Do you have the right of assignment? Things like that. When do the payments start? How much time do you have for marketing? These are all the things that you have to learn in negotiation about real estate. And you have to learn how to put them in a contract and get that contract back to you as soon as possible. You can take that contract and you can assign it. You can rent the property. You can rent it to own. You can wrap it as the other question. Somebody else asked a question about wrapping. Wrapping basically means you have a property. Let's say you have a $100,000 property that you've negotiated with a seller, but it's really but you can sell it to somebody else for 125. The interest rate the person you bought it from is maybe 3%, and you wrap it and increase it to 7 or 8%. Then you've increased the value of that property. So when you sell it or sublet it. Oh, no, it's my pleasure. It's just they come on really fast, these questions, and they don't stay here very long. So don't worry about it. The questions are good. I'm just trying to keep a stream of thought here for you guys. Focus on one strategy. Focus on virtual attraction marketing. Make people come to you. All my leads come into me. People call me, text me, email me, schedule with me. I have a scheduling system on my webpage, ClaudeDiamond.com. I have a simple one-page. By the way, if you're going to develop a web page, the cool way to do it is develop a one-page web page. Okay, I use something called Blab, Book Like a Boss. It's real simple. You can set it up yourself. It's all templated. And you can set up a web page where you can have a video on the top. You can capture email and give stuff for free. I give away a free book on my web page. You can sell your products. You have a scheduling calendar. It's called Book Like a Boss, BOOK. I love it. I love simplicity. I hate web pages where there's pop-ups, there's banners, and there's 38 little tabs, and they scroll on and on and on with one long commercial. I know all the ClickFunnels stuff, but it doesn't. I'm looking for people a little higher on the food chain. I'm looking for investors I'm looking for people who time is money. You've heard that expression, haven't you? I'm looking for people who want to do business, do it today, and they want to get to the information they want right away. They don't want to scroll all around. People have a very, very short attention span today. If you're going to do marketing, get to the point. Do you like to keep a sub 2 long term? Sub 2, let's explain it to the folks. Sub 2 or subject to is where you start taking over the payments on a mortgage. You buy the property under a contract and you take over the mortgage payments. Now, under law, little law here, most mortgages have what is called an acceleration clause, or you're not allowed to really sell it to somebody else and have them take over your mortgage. But for all deeds and purposes, that's civil. That's not criminal law. If you keep it short term, I would say, depending on, you can't go, somebody once said you can't, I think it was Max, you can't get hurt if you don't have any money in the deal. So as long as you disclose everything, you put it in writing, on this, you might put in your contract that this is a mortgage from somebody else. There is an acceleration clause, and they could call that note in. Do they ever do it? No, as long as the payments are usually made on time. So you could take that subject to the existing mortgage. I would keep it short, under 36 months, to answer your questions. Sometimes called the due on sale clause. Thank you, Sean. Acceleration clause, due on sale clause. I'd keep it short term. I know people who have used other people's mortgages for years and years. Make sure you have a good sales contract and that contract is recorded, but that could trigger the acceleration clause. What does Claude do when he isn't mentoring? When I'm not mentoring, I have a lovely futon here. I love my power naps. I wanted to talk. My routine every day is I get up early, particularly in the summer. It's ridiculous. I'll get up 4:30, 5 o'clock. I will do my weights, do my sit-ups, do my swim laps. I love running 10 miles. I'll usually get in, if I have a busy day, I'll get in 4 to 6 miles in the morning and then do another 4 or 5 mile run in the afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. And the days are long in the summer. Every now and then I can get in a 10 miler in one shot, usually on the weekends. I like running. I enjoy it. When I'm running every day, I listen to audiobooks or YouTube or podcasts. I love podcasts. I love to listen to other people. How would you approach an investor? Well, you reverse engineer it. Be empathetic, Isa. If you were an investor, what is it you want to hear? You have to ask your questions predicated on what you think that person wants to hear. What does an investor want to hear? Making money, baby. That's what they want. That's what any investor. What's my return? What's the safety margin? What's there to protect me? That's what investors want. So you better, when you have a property, you call up an investor. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Investor. You wouldn't be interested in making $50,000 today, would you? I have a property. It's $50,000 under market. It has owner financing on it. I put it all together, and I'm looking to wholesale it, arbitrage it to you for $15,000. Would you be interested in that? That would leave you at least a $35,000 net profit on that property. It's okay to say no to me. Would you be interested in that property today? Because I'm too busy with too many other deals. What does that investor want? They want to know it's safe. They want to know you're trustworthy. They want to know credibility, of course. They want to know the profit margin, greed. You guys have heard me say, what's my $1 million rule? Everybody knows it, right? If you followed me. People, it's the most important rule I teach. If you learn this rule, you're free the rest of your life. My word. Truth. You have to, when you talk to people, you can't read a script. Hi there, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. I'm just reaching out to you today. I want to ask you a bunch of questions. Can I have a couple minutes of your time? What do you think's going through their head? Oh, God, another salesperson, right? Another boring, time-wasting salesperson. You can't approach people like that. You've got to if you're going to an investor, cut right to the chase. Mr. and Mrs. Investor, how would you like to make some money today? I have a great deal I'm looking to turn over quickly. I'm too busy with my other deals. Are you in a cash liquid position today? Would you like to make a lot of money today? On a great property in a neighborhood. I have it all under contract. I'll be glad to send it to you today. People make decisions emotionally and justify them later intellectually, academically. Okay? If you got to make them emotional about this situation. When you talk to people about money, is money emotional? You better believe it. Money is very emotional. And that's what you want to do. You want to ask questions to your tenant buyers, your sellers, your investors, your realtors, anyone you speak to. Stay away from those canned, boring, obvious sales scripts. They're horrible. Everybody's heard them all before. They're guys who sell thick books of scripts. Like you're supposed to memorize these, or you have them in front of you and you read them. What good do you think that's going to do? People will reject you very, very high because you just sound like another salesperson. And their perception is he wants to take money. He wants to intimidate me. He wants to talk my head off for an hour. That's not what people want. Be empathetic. It's all about empathy, and use the technology to communicate with as many people every day, at least 5. But when you go to people, ask questions. Gee, why are you selling that beautiful home? You've been staying in another 10 years. Or hey, you made good money on this home. Why don't you let it keep appreciating? Why would you want to sell it? So ask the redirection or reverse questions. Please save this live. I'm driving and can't take notes. I will, Samuel. I'll put it on I'll save it up on YouTube and you guys can watch it a little later. It's been about 30 minutes or so. I'll go a few more minutes here because I came off my group call with my mentoring students. Every Monday we do a 1-hour group call. Today we talked about real estate strategies. We also talked about how Game of Thrones. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of role plays and things like that. What skills or attributes do you feel salespeople need to be successful? What a great question, Ani. Ani and Chantel in Phoenix. They watch their videos, but put your video link in there so people can watch your wonderful videos, but they'll make you hungry. What skills do you need? You got to be a master, a psychologist of persuasion. That's the key. While you're asking these questions and getting information, you have to do it in such a way that you develop a rapport with people, get them to like you, to trust you. This is a skill set. I often talk about the science, the psychology of sales. What's the magic words to say at the right time, to the right person, so they say, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, you're right. You're right. That makes so much sense. No one ever told me this. But let's just do this. How do we start? What do I have to do? Is paperwork? How do we get this moving?" And you get them so emotional they sell yes. You have to be the master of learning the different reasons why. I ask myself one question every day. Why should someone buy from me? How do I take somebody, a complete first-time call, a cold call? How do I, Claude, I'm giving the wrong answer to get the right from my prospect. It's all about the questions and getting them emotionally involved so that they participate. That's the psychology side. The other side that I don't talk enough about is the art side. You have to be a thespian, okay? You have to sound in such a way. We all know the good schmoozer, the fun-loving salesperson. Don't you ever meet a salesperson who you love their personality? They smiled, they were happy, they were enthusiastic. I talked a little bit today about Les Brown. You got to be hungry. The thing about it is, you've got to know how to make people. How do you make people feel comfortable? Think about that for a moment. When you get on the phone, "Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Prospect. I'm sorry it took me so long to get back to you. Your house must have sold." "Oh, it didn't? Oh, my name's Claude Diamond. I'm an investor. I'm looking to do a deal today. Can I ask you a few questions and then you ask me a few? And maybe I'll be glad to send you a contract or an offer today if you're interested. Would you like to do that?" And it's okay to say no to me or fire me or whatever you want to do. Don't worry about it. That's setting up the agenda right up front with people. Let them know you're serious. Let them know you're ready to do business today. But you have to also, you cannot be subservient to people. You can be respectful. You can be a nice person. That's okay. But you cannot be subservient to that person. You have to show leadership, dramatic leadership. Okay? Sometimes we want to do too much of this kissing here. Okay, guys? And, when you go to your doctor, to your lawyer, your accountant right now, it's April. God, do I love the let me talk. You got to be empathetic. Absolutely. Empathy means you're a mind reader. You have to be a mind reader. You have to anticipate what are people thinking? What is their oxygen? What is it that they really want? And you have to deal directly and honestly with them. Mr. and Mrs. Prospect, if I was in your position where I bought another house, I've got 2 payments, my kids have to start in another school 100 miles away from where this location is, and you're managing 2 mortgage payments, everything, that sounds very stressful to me. What's that like for you? Boom, creating need, creating motivation by the way you ask questions. And I practice this with my students all the time. I love doing role plays. This is how I learned from my mentor. We would practice. I would give them situations. This is what I do in my mentoring program with my students all the time, one-on-one role play and practice. Claude, what are the primary emotions that stem people to buy or sell? The top emotions. Good question. Greed. Absence, elimination of pain or agony and ecstasy are the 2 biggies. Can you create in their mind an ecstasy? Sir, imagine for yourself, you have this much money in your pocket. You can pay off your bills, pay off your mortgage. You and your spouse can take a trip. You can pay off your kids' private school. How would that make you feel? That's the ecstasy part. The agony part is taking away the pain. Sir, ma'am, your property's been empty for 6 months. You're writing out $2,000 checks every month. The property's vacant. It's subject to vandalism. I heard you had a break-in recently, and there was a fire. So how would you like to get rid of all that agony all the time? Suppose I could help you solve that problem today, so you never have to worry about making another payment for taxes, insurance, homeowner fees, principal and interest mortgage. Suppose I could do that, or somebody could do that today. How would that make you feel? Is that something we could talk about? Because I'm very serious about your home. Boom. Create that emotion. Tell stories too, by the way. Tell them stories that relate to the topic, to their motivation at hand. You've got to you're a thespian. Tell stories up front, like Mark Twain used to do, Samuel Clemens. People love stories. Tell stories that relate. You know, I had a friend once, same situation as you. He was in an apartment. He was renting for years and years. Must have given the landlord, $250,000 in rental fees. Can you imagine if he spent that same money and bought a property? And he had the tax advantages, he had the appreciation, and he had the pay down a mortgage and the improvement in his FICO credit score. He'd be worth, instead of being $250,000 in debt for the rent, he'd probably have a $500,000 property now, and free and clear. Who knows? So, and you tell these stories, and you've got to paint a picture. You're an artist. You're painting pictures in their mind. Use the senses. Sight, smell, vision, hearing, touch. Embrace those in there. And use the word imagine a lot. Make it emotional for people, and you will see magic happen all the time. And then bring them back to reality. So you've got to take them in that emotional sense and get a commitment. Get them up that yes ladder. But then you also want to go to a more academic. Does that make sense? Would you like to save money? And then you make it a little bit more intellectual. Imagine for a moment, right? Use that word imagine in their mind. You're almost like hypnotizing them. You're a painter, an artist, and they're a blank sheet of paper, and you're painting that picture in their mind. This is why sales is an art form. And they don't teach this. This is the thing that cracks me up. None of the gurus and none of the programs out there teach it or role play or do live role play. And this is the $1 million skill. And this is why I love teaching this. Because I know most of you out there, I know how hard you work. I know you're good people. You don't want a Lamborghinis, maybe you do. But you want to pay your bills. You want a certain quality of life. Okay? You want to work from home and get away from that job where you're commuting and stuff like that. So the thing about it is, why aren't they teaching the sales part? You can teach all the strategies in the world. You can set up expensive marketing programs, but no matter what you do, they don't teach it because it's work. It is hard work. Okay, I don't want to make it sound too easy. I have a 3-step system: agenda, qualification, commitment/close. It's not easy, but man, is it worth it because you're free. Do you know what it's like to be free? Hey, Claude, great content as always. Are you open to collaboration for education? I don't know. Make me an offer. Make me interested. Make sure you be empathetic. What does Claude want when you say collaborate? What are you bringing to the table? Make me an offer. Do a Godfather close. Make me an offer I can't refuse. It's that good an offer. Okay? Don't just, when you make offers to people, Got to make sure that it solves their problem. It's financially what they're looking for. And you be creative in your offers. Make multiple offers too. But what I was talking about before, you are, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not a demotivational speaker. But if you are not great at negotiation at sales, Claude is closing night. What a mess. Thank you. When you got to be great at sales. You got to be superb at it. You got to practice. I practice it every day. I do exactly what my mom said I shouldn't do when I was a little boy. I don't talk to strangers, right? Unless they have candy for you. No, don't do that. But I even have a new video, by the way, up today about my daily routine. It's a new video. It's up on YouTube. You might enjoy it. It's about 3.5 minutes. Some of the things I talked about today. But you're doomed to fail if you're not great in sales. You've really got to put in the time and learn a system of sales. Learn the 3 steps of the gut sales method. Learn the baby steps. Learn how to ask questions, open and closed-ended questions that create that emotion combined with storytelling. And then summarize several times. You want to get those needs and greeds from people and summarize with people. Summarize. Oh, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, you said this is your biggest challenge, your biggest problem. You said that you want to buy a home, but your FICO score is too low. You only have X amount of dollars. You want to move into a new home or somebody else's home in the next 30 days or less. If I could find a way to help you solve this problem, I'm not saying I can't, but if you found a solution, how long would it take you to make? Would you be able to make a commitment right away? What are your funds for that commitment? Talk about money. How do you make decisions for that commitment? Can you make a decision in the next 24 hours if it fulfilled everything you need? That's what you're looking for. That's what you're trying to do. When you're a gut salesman, you close in one phone call. Can you imagine doing real estate or selling any kind of capital goods? You close people in one phone call. When you have that skill set, that level, by the way, let me talk about one more thing before I go here. I'm going to leave it. It's 41 minutes here. I'm probably going to leave at 45, unless I get on another tangent. Sales changed my personality. I was this shy little bunny rabbit, okay? I was not the person I am today. I didn't raise my hand. I wasn't outgoing. I wasn't an extroverted type personality. Today, I still consider myself a recovering introvert, okay? Deep inside of me is that scared little kid sucking his thumb with the blanket over his head and the flashlight. I don't know if he could hold a flashlight if he's sucking his thumb. He has a blanket. Oh, well, don't worry about it. The thing about it is, it made me more confident. I can get on the phone. You could, right now, my word of honor, you could take a phone book. Anybody here remember a phone book? You remember those big, thick things? I think they still print them in certain areas. Everything's online now, but you could take an anonymous phone number, give it to me. If that person answers on the phone, I can speak to them. I'll ask them questions. Maybe I don't even have anything to sell them, but I'll find a way to interact with that person on the phone. And if they reject me and hang up, so what? I'll call another person. Sales allowed me to become confident and to just be able to pick up the phone with no hesitation, and I know, believe me, there was a time in my life, oh my God, cold calls. Oh, they're not going to like me. They're going to reject me. Who wants to do that all day long? You've got to have the skills. I've always felt like I was an introvert. Me too. Absolutely. But sales made me confident. And I don't mean to be a bully or intimidate people or pressure them. No, not like that. I just mean that I can speak to people all day long about real estate or my gut sales method at claudediamond.com. I can do any of that, and I can speak to my cold calls. I can do follow-up calls. Got to have a follow-up system. I don't think we have time today to talk about that, but you've got to have a superb follow-up system. And you've got to develop marketing so you're speaking to 5 or more people for at least 60 seconds or more every day. And not only for your business, I want you outside. When you go out to dinner, talk to the waiter or waitress. When you go to Starbucks, when you go shopping, when you go to Safeway, when you go to In-N-Out Burger, I want you to interact with people, the strangers in the line. I want you to practice. Make them put a smile on someone's face. Say something, ask them a question, make a statement, interact with people. Ask them their opinion. I want you to challenge yourself to learn these skills of persuasion and influence, and money will never be an issue in your life again. Honestly, Once you learn how to be the squeaky wheel, you get the grease. You ever hear that expression? You got to learn how to, and this is a science. It really is. Why do people buy stuff? I ask myself, how do I make people buy every day? Well, every time I get ready to cold call, I come here to get motivated. That's a treat. Thank you so much for saying that. I just want to share. I've got a great life. The biggest problem in my life is I don't have any problems. Not that money, who said money isn't everything? He didn't know what he was talking about. Money is real important. You want to take care of your family. You want to pay your bills. You want to live like a human being, okay? Where you're not beholden to anybody, where you're not making credit card companies and banks and mortgage companies rich, where you just want to live decently, eat good food, be in a nice home, own your own home someday. I still think that's real important. Owning your own home is probably the best number one investment. Learning, getting a business that you're passionate about. Mine has always been real estate and sales training, but you've got to focus on the one thing that's super important: sales, negotiation, persuasion, and influence. It is. I read books on sales. I write books on sales. I listen to podcasts on sales. Anything I can find on sales, and look for ideas. Stay away from the old-fashioned stuff, going out there, knocking on 100 doors, giving your presentation. That's old school. People don't like it. Why? We're in a different world today. We're in a culturally technological, digital world today. People don't want to be bothered, but they do want to be made interested in certain things that can solve their problems or help them to get where they want. So be enticing, okay? It's better to attract people who have an interest in what you offer. Sound different. Make yourself unique in your marketplace. Closing versus sales, yeah. What did they say in Glenn Glary, Glenn Ross, ABC, always be closing? You can close, but indirectly close. Stealth closing, we call it in Guts. I am talking to people, and I'm trying to make them so emotional about their need or greed, their agony and their ecstasy, that they start to, and then I can find a way to maybe offer them with my product or service a solution. I am closing them at that very moment. I give my students a 3-minute timer. We practice closing in 3 minutes, or at least getting enough information to work towards the close. Does it always happen in 3 minutes? No. Sometimes it takes 5, 10, 15 minutes, but at least you're talking to a qualified prospect if you're using a system of sales. So go to my webpage, ClaudeDiamond.com. Join on my YouTube. Many of you are on there already. Watch the videos I do on sales. I always try to do something unique. I have over 900 videos now on YouTube. My webpage is ClaudeDiamond.com. I have packages there. If you're interested in mentoring, 970-281-5151, as I always say. I answer my own phone. Sometimes you'll get the voicemail. Sometimes you'll get my wife or kids or something like that. It's okay. We'll always get back to you. What is the one sales book program you would recommend not written by yourself? Oh, what a good question. One of my, just what I was trying to get off, you lured me back in, just like The Godfather 3. Just when I thought I was out, you brought me back in. My favorite sales books, Cialdini, thank you. Very good, Jordan. Cialdini, watch his video on YouTube. It's Robert Cialdini, Cialdini, head of psychology. He talks about the psychological triggers of sales: likability, trust, social proof, authority, is very big. Reciprocity, scarcity. If you can blend these psychological triggers into your conversation with people, that will help. Cialdini's good. One of my favorite books, How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Sales. It's an oldie moldy by Bettger, Bettger. I'm a big fan of psychology. I've read a lot of Freud and Jung and people like that. Heavy reading. You may not be interested in it. I'm fascinated by studying what makes people tick. What's their oxygen? Frank Bettger, thank you. I like Dr. Eric Berne, Berne, the father of transactional analysis. Man is a brilliant Canadian psychologist. He wrote books. He wrote the book, The Games People Play. What are these games people play? Why do they say one thing, but inside they mean another? You get back to that empathy thing again. What you have to anticipate as though you're a mind reader, what they're thinking, what their oxygen is, and know if you know how to ask the right questions and gain their respect, gain their trust, make it compelling, make them interested in you and what you have to offer, so that you have those good one-on-one conversations. Not that where they're talking down to you like they're your parent and you're a child. You don't want that. You want adult to adult conversations. Sometimes you want to make them the child, by the way, because children can be very emotional. Absolutely. Different ego states. There's plenty of great sales books. There's wonderful videos on YouTube. I like Grant Cardone. I listen to Grant once in a while. I kind of like him. He's a great salesperson and definitely a great marketer too. I'm going to go now, guys. I've got a lot of phone calls. There's money to be made today. If you pick up you pick up the phone. Yes, it's a landline. I still use it. Sometimes the quality's better on a landline than on a cell phone. Just depends. Make those phone calls. Talk to 5 people a day. Talk to 10, 15 people a day. Have fun on the phone. Laugh. If you're laughing and they're laughing and you're having a good time on the phone, you will go to the bank today. You will have fun on the way to the bank. Sales is that $1 million skill, guys. You don't focus. There's so many other things to focus about, and there's too many distractions. But study sales, and you will see magic happen so quickly. I love you guys too. Hi, Nicole. Thank you for joining. The Games People Play by Eric Byrne. That's he's written good books. I'm Okay, You're Okay by his student Harris. Dr. Harris was a student of Dr. Byrne. I love modern psychology that deals with emotional selling. Something we'll talk about at another time. I got to go, guys. Thanks so much. Go to my webpage. Give me a thumbs up if you like this stuff. If you want me to do more of these, share this with your friends. You have a great day, because nobody deserves success more than you. You got to